Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P. Joe P's up here, and it's Monday Night Football. That means my rowdiest friend, Scott Bogman, is here to help you win some money, and we got a great one, a rematch of the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to Kansas City to take on the reigning, defending, undisputed Kansas City Chiefs, the world champions, the Super Bowl champions, and that's going to make for some fun football. I'm just happy, Bogman, that I don't have to watch the Jets or the Giants in a standalone game. That's all.
For God's sake, get them off the screen. The Patriots, the Steelers, the Titans. These teams do not belong on national television. The offenses are terrible. But I tell you what, you get a good game going like the Bengals and the Ravens, and then it's completely marred by
injuries
and just, the play was bad and the referees were bad before that. I don't know, man. Glad to have a good game on a Monday night.
Yes.
And hopefully we will limit these injuries as well.
Not a good game. This is a great game on paper. This is what you want. These are arguably the best teams in their respective conferences facing off. This is great. And it's happening at a time in the season too, where, I talked about this on the Look Ahead show last Monday, that my feeling was, and this is why I locked in the Eagles on the money line when I did, is because I feel like the Eagles need this game a little bit more than the Chiefs at this point. Like, the Chiefs can kind of scuffle a little bit. They still have a very weak division. The Chargers are going nowhere. Denver Broncos are getting hotter, but I know the Raiders are cute right now. It's adorable. They won 2 out of 3. But let's not pretend like the Raiders really
real contender went down when Burrow went out. So
100%. You're 100% about right. You are right about that.
So who are you competing with in the AFC? The Dolphins.
The Bills.
The Bills are playing better, and probably the Ravens. That's
probably
it.
The Ravens, yep.
Mm-hmm. Houston's good. Are they?
Fun.
They're still young.
Yeah. The Jaguars, where nobody's afraid of the Jaguars beating Patrick Mahomes.
We don't know what it means. All right.
But it is kind of true. And that's why I feel like, on the NFC side, the 49ers are back making some noise. You have the Dallas Cowboys looking really sharp the last few weeks. I know they're the Cowboys, so you'll take it with a grain of salt. But I think this is a chance for the Eagles to sort of pick up the pace a little. This is a point where for them to go, hey,
team in the NFC, and it's not very close. It's them and the Niners, I would say.
There you go. I would agree. It's funny because we got a fascinating opportunity here to take a look at, after the Niners look so dominant, these last 2 games, especially that new pass rush, what the Eagles will look like tonight. Like that's an outside challenger. They know, they see, they're watching, they know what's going on here. And April is saying under. There you go, April. So, Bogman, unders are not going to happen. So without further ado, let's get to the game. Before we get to the game, let's get to some free stuff, shall we? If you want a chance to win a free premium 1-year subscription to Betting Pros, your place to start betting smarter, not harder, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes drop, and if you are the winner, so you can claim your prize. All right, let's take a look at the game here. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles again. Pardon me. I got to drink a little bit.
Oh, look at
that. Grandpa's cough medicine. Yeah.
He's the Steelers.
So emotional about
Oh, no.
All right.
Oh,
I'm fine.
He's fine.
2.5. Plus 2.5. That's what the Eagles are getting right now. Even money. Plus 2.5. The Kansas City Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. Minus 110. Over on PointsBet, you can get that one. Then you've got the FanDuel 45.5 at minus 114. You've got the 46 under at minus 110 on DraftKings and plus 125 on the Philly side for the money line. Bogman, your thought?
Look, I'm going to take the Chiefs at home. And also Andy Reid is, I believe, 27-4 if you include the playoffs when coming off of a bye. So give me the Chiefs at home. The total is a little trickier. I feel like this is nice. This is a good total. So I don't really want to mess with it. Joe, you've been more of the straight picks guy. As you choke on that water, I've been in that scenario. It's a bad scenario. Look at the tears from Joe, by the way. So, oh my God, I'll give you something. The chickpea is neither a chick nor a pea. Disgust. He's verklempt. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'm also going to take the under because I think the Chiefs pace this game. They have been playing at the pace of their defense this season rather than at the pace of their offense. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home. And I know you just said you have a straight up money line pick on the Eagles.
I
I don't
do.
think there's a bad pick here. So
No, I don't think so either. And I know we've got some folks here where you got predictions. If you got predictions, drop them in. We want to know what you guys think. Ian Blackwell saying 30-22. What is that next to it though? Is that an eagle? Is that what is that? It's like some sort
looks,
of
I think it's supposed to be an eagle. Yeah.
sounds like an eagle flying. I think it's eagle is what he's saying. Faustino, 27-24 Kansas City. A rare over on a Monday night. That would be rare. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying not to overthink this one. I think the Eagles again have just a little bit more of a need for this game. I think that's what drives them. And the biggest concern I had was what you laid out there, which was the Andy Reid factor of the coming off the bye and the more time to prepare and all that stuff. I also remember the Eagles took the Chiefs to their limit in the Super Bowl. And I think the Eagles remember that. And I think the Eagles know that they have some unfinished business here. And not to mention, everyone will also point out that the way to attack the Eagles is throwing the football. Well, you got Patrick Mahomes. That's great. Except that, this wide receiver core still has yet to put it together. They are still all over the place. They're still a hot mess, in my opinion. Maybe this is the get right game. We'll see. But I think this is a test of will here for the Eagles to not only beat the Chiefs, but to go on the road and beat the Chiefs. And I think that if they do that, they will solidify themselves as the team to beat, as the dominant team in the NFC, because I think that's still up for debate for a lot of people. And I think they're ready to put that one to bed. And having that bye in this extended season is very important. So they recognize how important this game is too. I've also got this in a little parlay action where I'm already 2 out of 3. I went under in the Browns Steelers game. That was pretty easy.
What a call, man.
I know. I'm a genius.
Great work, Joe. Yeah.
What a genius. I went over in the Lions Bears game. Check. So the last one here is the Eagles to win on the money line. Now, I also, which is good betting for those of you still new to the channel and new to betting, I also bet all these things individually. So either I win the big payoff or I've basically hedged myself where, hey, I end up kind of breaking even at the end of the day. There you go. That's a great way to do it. You get 2 out of the 3 right. You've already kind of solidified. Now you're in a chance to win some big money and put yourself forward here. So the Monday nights in terms of overs have been tricky here. Where do you stand on this one again, too, just to reiterate for the folks just joining us?
I'm going to take the Chiefs and I'm going to take the under.
Very good. Yeah. I thought you had more.
I mean, I did. While you were choking, I explained it. So,
is that what happened?
Yeah,
I was dying there.
Well, look, I said that the Chiefs are pacing with their defense this season. Like most years that we've seen this Chiefs team is a offense first, make them outscore me type of a deal. This year,
I apologize for
it's okay. It's okay. They're putting pressure on the quarterback with that line. Their coverage grade is great. And the Eagles on the other side, they're a little on defense, they're a little one-dimensional because they're stopping the run, but they're stopping the run because everybody knows they can pass on them. The secondary is playing terrible this year. So like you said, it's not the best matchup for the Chiefs offense because they would rather run first and just throw to Kelsey, but I think they're gonna have to pass to beat this team. So that's why, and it's Patrick Mahomes. I think he can. So give me the Chiefs and the under.
For making you repeat yourself a little bit while you were talking and I was dying. All I saw was white light.
Hey, look, just so you know, if you're doing that in front of me and dying, I will laugh until you turn purple.
So whoever is trolling us in the chat under the betting pros, I can only assume it's Mike Mayer. Joe can't read emojis without the old man glasses on. That might be true, but
I just figured that was you. So,
oh
my God, Joe,
these aren't my glass. Like these aren't. I did actually break down.
Whose grandmother did you steal them from? So.
I did actually break down this weekend though, and I bought reading glasses because it is getting it's getting dark out early.
I just keep moving the text to bigger and bigger on my screen. So that's what
I just noticed like I'm starting to read a label and I'm like this. I'm looking and I'm saying to myself, this is not good. And it happened out of nowhere, Bogman. Out of nowhere is when it happened to me.
Yeah,
but this is what happens. This is what
happens. I mean, look, I only don't look gray because I have so much hair. If I didn't have as much hair, there's a lot of gray in there. So
there you go. All right, let's get to the props. Bogman has been absolutely smashing the prop department lately. So
the stupid injury screwed me on Thursday.
Now, hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Before, let's talk a little NBA because we got a great NBA show for you. Wednesday and Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Best bets here right on the channel. And Matt Modi is doing a terrific job with these. So if you haven't seen it already, or if you're just getting into wagering in NBA, this is absolutely your opportunity to get involved here. Watch him 11 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday, Friday. He's basically just laying out the plan for you. He is absolutely crushing it. So go check that out every single day here on the channel, Wednesday and Friday when he's on. Great stuff there from Matt Modi. And it's live too, so you can ask questions, which is super fun. All right.
Awesome.
So Bogman, I know, Thursday was rough because of the injuries, but the process was good. So I'm just going to crumple that up, throw it out the window, because there's nothing you do. When you lose a quarterback like Joe Burrow, everything goes to chaos. And then you lose arguably the best weapon on the Ravens, everything.
Well, yeah, and every Raven had a sack but Matabikwe. It was just one of those weeks for me. Keaton Mitchell had an 8-yard catch on his one catch, and I had 8.5. Obviously Jamar Chase, and then Lamar just didn't throw the pick that I always have. I'm going to have one here too. So
okay, well, let's kick things off here. What do you have for the people? Let's start with Patrick Mahomes, and you've got surprise and over.
Yeah. Look, I picked the under on the game, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. But because that will be the end of Bogman's overs or unders, excuse me, for this week. But let's go with a pick for Mahomes, and he's actually done a better job of not turning pressure into sacks, but he's also been putting some up. I think this is his highest or second highest turnover worthy play percentage season that he's ever had so far. And he has thrown a pick in all but 2 games so far this season. And look, the secondary may be playing bad for Philly, but the pressure rate is still very good. And the line is still good. So they will put pressure on Mahomes. I think they force him into at least one mistake. So I will go with the over a half interception because he's been throwing them.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense here. DeAndre Swift, 57.5 rushing yards, minus 120. Now, this one's an over for you too, so it hasn't been quite as spectacular the last few weeks for him. So let's talk about what you like so much in this matchup for him.
Yeah, this is more about the Chiefs defense has been better against the pass than they are the run. They're 17th against the run this year in terms of yards given up per game. And over the last 3 games, they've actually dropped to 24th. They're averaging giving up over 135 yards per game over their last 3 games. So they're putting pressure on the opposing quarterback, but the run game slips through. And I think Swift can break one here and get a big chunk of that. This total is not that big for him, 57.5. So yes, maybe they use Gainwell a little bit more, but I think they're going to be able to run against the Chiefs.
Now, speaking of rushing props too, something we were hammering early in the year were the really low totals of the rushing yards for Mahomes. By the way, they were like 13.5, 14, 15.5. Now you want to take a guess at what they're at today? They're at 25.
Yeah. I mean, it's because he's been running.
They caught up, but it took a good 6 weeks. That was something we were just pounding the table every single week on the prop show, every single week on this show, Monday or Thursday night football preview. Anytime we saw the Chiefs, it was like, hey, what's the Mahomes one? And now this number's at 25, and that one feels like, okay,
it feels about right. It's like the total
you can have that
game.
one.
Yeah, it feels about right. I don't want to touch it. Right.
All right. So if it's not Mahomes rushing too much, it's going to be Pacheco potentially. So let's talk about that number. A good run defense for the Eagles, 12.5 rushing attempts at minus 120. You're going over or under here for Pacheco?
Well, obviously I'm going over because it's me. But this one is, look, he's gone over this rush attempt total in 6 of 9 games. And I want to touch the yards, right? We're not playing with the yards here because the Eagles run defense is very good. And there is a lot. It's likely that this will be an ineffective running game for the Chiefs against this Eagles line. And they're going to have to pass to win this game, which is another reason why I like them. They're going to be forced to pass, and Mahomes can do it. So I don't mind that. But you have to keep the defense honest. You have to at least keep them on their toes a little bit. So you have to show run. And I think if you're going to do that, a hard runner like Pacheco is going to work in this game. And he has gone over this total, like I said, in 6 of his 9 games that he's played this season. And I just expect them to keep feeding him the rock, and his snap percentage has gone up as well in terms of, just him versus the other running backs. Last week, it was 68%, or 2 weeks ago, obviously week 9, the last time they played, it was 68%, which is his highest total of the season for the Chiefs, and the highest Chiefs running back total of the season as well in terms of percentages. He's had more snaps because they've played more offensive plays in games, but in terms of percentages, he was out there more than he ever has been. And I think as we get into the cold months, that's what you want to see from the Chiefs. So I think we're going to see him at least run the ball over 12.5 times. So
We've got some fun stuff in the chat here. We got Sammy just returning from Florida. Very nice. That was me just 2 weeks ago. It was so nice. It was 85 degrees.
you look so
Beautiful. Now
tan.
it's 40. I was tan. I was tan for like 2 or 3 days there. And now it's kind of, well, it's slowly just olived back. I mean, I'm always a little tan. I'm Italian. But he's ready to place the wagers, and he's with me on the Philly side here. Then JM in NYC has a question. Is over 8.5 rush attempts for Hurts a good idea? He was practicing without the knee brace and looking good. Or would DeAndre Swift at 13.5 rushing attempts over be the better option? What do you think here, Boggs? I think both these numbers are really close. Neither of them really pop out to me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I would think that
8.5 seems over. I would go under on the 8.5 rush attempts.
I just think that that's about right, and plus the fact that the Chiefs put so much pressure on the quarterback, they
do.
They may just say, "Hey, look, if it's not there, bail out, get 5, slide, done."
Well, and the Philly, the tush push, the brotherly shove is also a rushing
Yeah,
attempt too. So if he gets the 2 of those too, that's
you know
something I
what?
just thought about too.
Yeah, I'll go over on Hurts. Swift, I don't want to touch.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense there. Okay, so we've gone through Mahomes, Swift, and Pacheco. Let's go with Rashee Rice, 42.5 receiving yards. It's a pretty hefty number here for Rice.
Your
You think he
boy,
starts to
Joe.
get? He is my boy, and he's been pretty good considering he was a free square in
Great.
fantasy. I'll take
It's
the
the
free
only guy
squares.
left on my flex team you drafted me that's healthy. So that's
I
nice,
know,
but
I know. When Burrow went down too, I was that. You're gonna laugh. It's the first thing I thought of. I was like, great, great.
Great, Bogman can blame me
Aren't you
more for
glad I
this.
didn't draft Aaron Rodgers for you though?
Yeah,
Just saying.
sure am. I mean, I didn't want Aaron Rodgers
I
ever,
know, but
so.
that was the quarterback I could have drafted for you in the second round. That was there, if memory serves. I was like, nope, not going to do that. Screw that. But hey,
Look,
everyone's
Rice,
injured.
let's go with the over receiving yards for your boy Rashee Rice. It's 42.5. So, and we just talked about how bad the Eagles secondary is and how that is where you need to take advantage if you're the Chiefs to win this game. And Rice was a leader in snap percentage among KC wide receivers the last 2 weeks and has gone over this total in 3 of his last 4 games. Philly's secondary has been rough, and he's a big play guy. So, and we've talked about this before. Welsh and I, and you and I, Joe, both talked about this. Rashee Rice has gone from a guy this season as a rookie from we're using him at the goal line and in 2-point conversions to we're using him in the red zone to now he's the Chiefs leading wide receiver in terms of snap percentage. So I'm a believer in Rashee Rice, and I think he can hit this total as well.
Going back to Mr. NYC's question too, just looking at the game log here for Hurts, the 8.5 has gone over every single week except for week 8. And he had 8 exactly against the Jets in week 6. Every other week has been 9 or more, double digits. So interesting piece there. And of course, look at betting pros here. For what it's worth, Jalen Hurts ran the ball 15 times against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So there you go. And yes, the brotherly shove does count as rushes. Yes, it does, because he's rushing forward. They're gaining yards. It's a rushing attempt. So like it or not, it is what it is, like the kids like to say. But to your point, Bogman, Rice is really starting to acclimate himself. And this is what I was hoping for, that guy that you would draft in your fantasy leagues that would be that slow burn kind of guy that might have some touchdown equity. And then as the season went on in the second half, maybe that stretch run become like a viable wide receiver 3. And it feels like we're kind of on the precipice of that. Like, it feels like, he's been a flex guy, and now we're starting to look at that. And from a wagering perspective, this is a very telling game today. You might be ahead of the curve coming off the bye. Maybe this is the game where Rice goes way over this 42 and he emerges as a true asset in this passing game. And if we're going to see it, it would make a lot of sense that this is the game to see it.
Yeah, they need him. So I think he's going to be used all over the place. It's him and Justin Watson are now the leading receivers on this team. So I mean, they need to figure out this spot, but I think he has taken one of them.
All right, let's get to the last one here. A.J. Brown. Can't do a show about the Eagles without A.J. Brown. 6.5 receptions at plus money on the over. Boggs. This is like stealing money. Let's go.
Even money. Brown has gone over 6 receptions in all but 2 games this season, and his floor is 4 catches. So, he's a big playmaker. They're going to get him the ball. He's, like I said, the minimum is 4 every single week. He's just peppered with targets, especially recently. It feels like Hurts and Brown are kind of hitting their peak in their relationship right now on the field. So I think it's great, and they're going to have to feed him. So I want to see it. I think we get it.
All right. Ian's going to chime in here. Roby is back for the Eagles secondary, veteran player that can play nickel corner well. Won't be as easy as it was. Possibly true, but we'll see. First game back too. You never know how much those guys are out there on the field.
Well, and it's just
well.
like I think if you're the Eagles, you gotta and it's could pay off quickly for the Chiefs. You gotta hit Mahomes early. You gotta get him feeling that pressure early. You gotta rattle his cage. You gotta get in there and smack him a couple times, and that will get him off. If you're the Eagles, that's how you win. But if he gets comfortable, it doesn't really matter who's back there for the Eagles. Mahomes will pick you apart. So don't let him get comfortable, go rattle his cage. But I think it's going to be a very, very good game.
All right, let's get to some of the anytime touchdown props out there. The juice is heavy on Travis Kelce, and considering his splits with and without Taylor Swift in the, the stadium.
Please consider that. We're asking the big questions here.
As if somehow like degenerate gamblers don't look at every single wacky stat they possibly can. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, he's also, when it's a waning moon.
It's a waning moon in the third,
rising Scorpio or whatever that nonsense is.
Mercury is in retrograde, so Travis Kelce might not score a touchdown today. But again, the juice is heavy there, minus 120. Then you got AJ Brown at plus money, plus 115. So if you do like the Eagles and AJ Brown, that's a very easy one. Jalen Hurts at plus 120, that's even easier to really sell people on. You have Isaiah Pacheco plus 120, Swift at plus 155. Then your boy Rashee Rice, who I know JB in the chat was talking about anytime touchdown, you're getting 2-1 on him, plus 230 on Devonta Smith. And then the fun thing about this game, Boggs, is you're almost guaranteed always with Mahomes to get one of those wackadoo touchdowns, as I like to call them. So McKinnon is plus 440. Mahomes himself is plus 450. MVS plus 550. Justin Watson plus 550. And then you've got Sky Moore at 6 and Kadarius Toney at plus 7. The Watson one at 550 is just staring me in the face. I feel like that's just the inevitability of this universe that we live in. And then on the Eagle side, plus 700 for Gainwell is also an intriguing one too. So with all these, it's
well, how about plus 600 for the Eagles defense? We've talked about how Mahomes has thrown a pick in every single game but 2. We saw Brian Branch on national TV
on FanDuel for the Philly defense.
What is it?
By the way, plus 750 on FanDuel.
Oh wow, on DraftKings, yeah, I think it's plus. It's plus 600. So
for me, I want to live in the safe place with Brown or Hurts. I think that's the best spot. Rashee Rice at 2-1, I think is your best value. But then I'm going to throw a dart. The dart's going to be on Gainwell or Watson because I definitely feel there's going to be one of those wacky touchdowns. And if you throw a small unit on either of them, it's a huge payout if you get one of them right.
Yeah, look, I think Jalen Hurts, obviously, and getting plus anything on Hurts to score a touchdown, I think is fine. That's probably where I want to go for the safe. And if I'm getting crazy, putting a small unit, because it's all I have on the Eagles D is what I'm going to do. Plus 600, times 6, times 7, wherever you can get it, depending on your money. Let's do that one.
All right, just to recap for all of you joined us a little later live, minus 2.5 for Kansas City is where Bogman's living. I'm living on the money line with the Eagles, so it should be a fun one tonight for us to text back and forth about. The under 46.5 is where Bogman is. I'm staying away from it. Bogman's in on the Patrick Mahomes half interceptions over at minus 125. DeAndre Swift over 57.5 rushing yards, minus 120. Isaiah Pacheco over 12.5 rushing attempts at minus 120. Rashee Rice over 42.5 receiving yards, minus 115. And AJ Brown, this is the best one. You're getting even money basically in a couple of spots here. And 6.5 receptions over.
I'll also throw in, if I'm picking one guy to get a sack.
I was just going to ask you, you didn't give me any defense though, which is fine. These are two big offenses. It's a prime matchup.
I get it. Doesn't get sacked. I think he's taking 12.
No, you're right. And Jalen Hurts is very elusive too. So they're not. In
terms of time of possession, I don't lean one way.
I thought you might give me a tackles guy.
I don't lean one way or the other in time of possession. The Chiefs have a pretty nice rotation at linebacker. I don't know who is healthy and going to be playing for Philly at linebacker. So we kind of throw those two away. And in fact, I don't think Morrow was available on what I saw. Which is the guy I'd probably want to take. So I'd take Karlaftis because Jalen Hurts has taken 22 sacks this year. Even though that line is very good, he'll just take him on the rush attempt or when he's rolling out or whatever. So I would go Karlaftis in this game if I'm picking one guy to get a sack. That's the guy.
Plus 100 for Karlaftis over on FanDuel. For
Not
Jones,
I would rather, like, if you're going to do
115.
that, do an anytime touchdown, because sacks and touchdowns are somewhat comparable. You know what I mean? So I'd rather do an anytime touchdown than a sack this time.
Hassan Reddick minus 102 is appealing to me. That guy's just a monster. I know we've had multiple conversations.
He is, but he goes in streaks.
He does, but I think he's one of those guys that shows up in these big games like this.
He does.
Yeah, it's not like Kayvon Thibodeau who shows
not
up.
He's not a bad bet, but
yeah.
I think the sack and touchdowns are somewhat comparable. Sacks are a little easier to come by, but not by a ton. So
agreed. You're getting some, you're also getting some good numbers on the, to Bogman's point about the elusiveness of the quarterbacks tonight. It might be good to bet some of these not record a sack props on some guys. Like, I'm just saying, if you're taking a look at this, you're getting basically the same number. Like, I'm looking on FanDuel right now to record a sack, to not record a sack for, Hassan Reddick is a little tighter, but there's some other guys there like Chris Jones to not record a sack is the same as to record a sack at minus 113. So maybe in the situation, we're always looking for the overs. We're always excited about those things, but this might be a scenario where the under or the no sack situation might be something.
On DK, the under actually pays better than the over on Hassan Reddick.
So. There you go. You see that, boys and girls, outside the box. That's what we're doing here. Don't forget to subscribe to the Betting Pros channel, everybody. We appreciate you joining us here tonight. Might be a new record and people watching us live too. We love that. We've got a special coming up tomorrow. Andrew Erickson and myself are going to take you through the Thanksgiving game. So it's a Thanksgiving special, just like our good friend from Integrity Farms, Randy Marsh, would give you. Nothing like a good Thanksgiving special. We're going to take you through the Black Friday game as well, so you can get you all set up there so you don't have to talk to your family. You can just watch football and bet all day. So we're going to be doing that on Tuesday. My video will be dropping too. So a lot of fun stuff going on here. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget Wednesdays and Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern, live NBA talk as well. We are full service. We are here for you. We're the people show on Betting Pros. So again, subscribe, drop your comments below. You just might win a premium upgrade, and you might also want to flip that little bell on for notifications. So every time a piece of content drops here on the channel. And if you're the big winner of that next premium upgrade we're giving away, that'll do it for us. But of course, the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy this big Monday Night Football game.